Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Hope we meet you well, as we always do, this Friday. Yesterday we were talking about the president declaring a nationwide security emergency. We're going to continue with that subject matter today because it is that kind of a matter. One program can hardly contain it. Well, our guest today is an expert, Dr. Anya Nkata Roberts. Dr. Roberts is a counter-terrorism and international relations expert. A fine morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you too, and thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. From the point of view of the professional point of view of, security, and the president, this action has been taken by the president, some feel, in the light of noises from America that they did expect to see something a bit more from us. But then there are those who are saying that, there have been so many things in the pipeline and that this wasn't necessarily pushed by the Americans. What is your thought, sir, about the president declaring this nationwide emergency?
Thank you so much. Declaring the state of emergency by the president is a step in the right direction, especially at this moment. The president didn't just talk about increasing the strength of the police. He also talked about the Department of State Security Services training our forest guards, which is key. If you are really very observant, you will notice that most of these criminals hide in our bushes, in the forest. So asking Department of State Security Services to train our forest guards for them to be able to monitor our bushes is key. Now, the president, I know as a president, he wouldn't come and probably disclose all the strategies he has in this emergency, but Nigerians are expecting him to put fire on all our forests. It is time to smoke these guys out of our bushes. It is time to smoke these criminals out of our bushes. I don't think it's only the pressure from America that really necessitated him in the declaration of the state of emergency. It includes the cries of Nigerians. Nigerians at this point it has become hopeless for us. We don't know when next they're going to strike. It's one too many. How many kids? For how long will these guys continue to perpetrate this kind of criminality? These are criminals. They have turned Nigeria to become the most lucrative business for their kidnap enterprise. And it's time we stop them from doing that. So declaring the state of emergency is a very wonderful step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. I know there are other things that will follow in the nearest future. Yes.
Of course, it's plain that these kind of attacks on Nigeria, because that's what I would refer to it as, kidnapping people worshiping in a church, kidnapping schoolgirls, and that kind of a thing. All of these are coming in the wake, of the American statement. Now, there are those who are saying that, all of this is looking like some enemies within, that kind of a thing, and that we are just leaning on the understanding of the authorities that they do indeed realize what they're doing. But a number of things have come up, and I thought I'd just seek what you think. The spokesman, for the president, Bayo Onanuga, on a TV program, has said that when he was asked, how did we get our girls back, our 38 girls? And he had said something along the lines of, well, the SSS, they contacted them, they spoke with them, and they complied. They did what we asked because they knew the consequence of not doing so. First of all, give me your impression, because that has also now led again. Oftentimes we've heard that, we know where they are. We've heard that, and most Nigerians were incredulous. But what does that say to you now?
You know, the presidential spokesperson's speech, I think I watched it on television too, where he talked about um, the strategies with which those people were, released, that they contacted them and then
Yes.
made them, show them, were probably, from what he was trying to say, he was trying to just highlight the fact that they know what could happen to them if they don't do what they were supposed to do. You don't expect him to come and start telling you otherwise. You don't expect him to come and give you much more details of how those probably negotiations, because they said it was a peace deal, though. We don't expect him to come and give you much more details. Mind you, these are security issues. It's not something you come to the open
He
to actually
himself
disclose
said
in
so.
detail.
Yes, he himself said so.
Yes.
I think when they tried to
Yes.
probe further, he said, look, I'm just the information guy. I'm letting you
Yes.
know what is, on the table that we can share by way of information. He did say so.
Of course, it's very correct. But you see, the angle we are going to look at it from now is these guys have been kidnapping students, they've been kidnapping people, and when they say we know where they are, some of the negotiations are going on that are going on between government and them. There are locations, there are telecoms. It's not something that we don't understand. It's something you could track them to where they are. But sometimes, like he also mentioned in his television interview, that because of the human shield, okay, what happens after the release of those people? Are we going to continue to allow them to kidnap? And then we say we know where they are without doing something. That is why the president has stood up to say, enough is enough. This is the time to smoke them out. I don't believe in negotiating with these guys because these are just criminal elements.
The matter, you spoke about forest guards earlier, and now that also is a very important matter. I think the police and the army have been authorized to recruit an additional 20,000 officers, bringing the total to 50,000 is what we heard. Now, on this matter of mass recruitment, if I can call it that, and if you're going to be recruiting 20,000 people, surely that's mass. Does that give you any concern? The number is fine if we could get them, but it's all about the quality and the caliber of people that come into the force. It was President Olusegun Obasanjo who said in his time that all sorts of agberos, motor park touts, and those kind of people were in the police. If you recall, he had said it at that time when he was trying to, see what he could do by way of reforming the police. Now, as an expert yourself, is it possible, some are concerned, to take on the kind of number that the president has approved? Does the police have the organization, the machinery, the wherewithal to screen every one of those 20,000 to know that these are people that are patriots? These are people that will not betray us. Are you concerned at all that in trying to get 20,000 officers, we might be taking some enemies on board as well?
You see, I want us to remember that the major issue we have at this moment is the Islamic State of West African Province. And the Islamic State of West African province is a highly advanced terrorist organization, well structured. Now, my fear is the infiltration of the police. I am not saying we should not recruit and that we don't have the capacity to actually vet those to be recruited. But my major concern is we recruiting part of people that are loyal or sympathetic to the ISWAP into the civil force. That will compromise it. Now, looking at further things that could also be done, morale of our men and women in uniform. It's not about training 50,000 people and putting them in the bush. What equipment are we giving to them? Do we have real armored personnel carriers that can take them in the bush? You are dealing with criminals that have multiple launch rocket systems. Are you going to deal with them with rocket gas that you may, at the end, arm with pump actions, or rocket forest gas that you are going to send into the bushes with Hilux, with light-skinned Hilux vehicles that could not protect them? This is the time to increase the morale of our men and women in uniform that are fighting these terrorists. This is the time to give them every necessary equipment and assistance that they need. This is the time for us to comb the bush first There should be strategies. There should be tactics in how to handle this issue. You can't just send people to go into the bush to come and look at, to go and, probably, arrest people that are highly armed. First of all, go in with the air. Take over the whole airspace of Nigeria. Everywhere in Nigeria, let them be fired. Smoke them out. Once this starts happening, you put pressure on them. You see them on their own, abandoning most of those heavy duty equipment they have in the bush and start coming out. That's when we've started the. That is when the 50,000 people we are going to recruit can now go into the bush. I wouldn't want anyone related to me or a friend of mine to go into the bush at this particular moment without doing the first thing. That is the proper thing to do. There are processes.
Okay.
Bomb them down, make sure their capacity, their operational capacity is destroyed or completely. Then you send people to flush out the remaining, bunch of pockets of resistance that we may have. That's what I think.
We have long been hearing that, people know, just looking at the Nigerian armed forces, people know that these criminals and all these ragtag people, these terrorists, apart from, as you said, ISWAP is a highly trained organization. It is. I'm taking that from you. I wouldn't know, but as an expert yourself, you know that they are not to be sneezed at. There still is the matter of training. Now, the president had said that even though he had already approved the upgrade of police training and their facilities, that is on one side, but he has now authorized the same people, the police, to use National Youth Service Corps facilities. What do you think of that?
Yeah, the crash program is necessary. But remember that he said the training should be for those called back from the VIPs. They already had training before now, and then what the president is trying to do now probably is to just do more of crash program, take them back to what they knew earlier. Most such like a reminder. Though the period is very short, but it is needed at this moment.
VIP protection, I understand, is seen as something of a lucrative posting by most policemen. And so because of that, there have been some comments along the line of, we've heard this before. This is not the first time that we've had a president say that valuable policemen, because that's what they are, can no longer be expended on, VIPs, protection and that kind of a thing. So there are those who are thinking that let's just wait a while. First of all, the policemen that are enjoying the benefit of these lucrative postings, if I put it that way, first of all, how willing are they going to be to come? And then two, their superiors, all those who are in charge of assigning one person to, are they going to, do you think that this time, having heard this before, that we're withdrawing policemen from those, well, I won't call them non-essential duties, but you know what I mean. We're withdrawing them,
yes,
and that they will be part of this whole exercise. How optimistic are you that this will go well? Bearing in mind the theory, I wouldn't have the proof for that those postings are quite often very lucrative to the policemen themselves.
Of course, in the past, the order has always come from the IG of police ordering withdrawal of police from VIPs, and they were never, you could just see, you give the order, and then to what extent was it obeyed? But this is coming from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, which includes the police. This is an emergency period. Remember, he declared state of emergency. This is the time for all of us, including the VIPs, to feel the heat. You are using police protection because you feel you're not safe. But when safety is guaranteed, there won't be need for all those VIP protection, for all those VIP police protection. This is the time we're talking about something that affects the nation. It shouldn't be. This is not the time to look at sympathy for anybody, for any individual, no matter how highly placed you are. It is time to work do things that will make sure the the integrity of this nation. Let me remind you that a government is to protect every part of your territory. And what these guys, the criminal elements, are doing as we speak is to discredit the government, which is why the international community are coming and say as if we are unable. Meanwhile, we have one of the best trained police in the world. Look at what they do in foreign services. So, and how come these people that excel in foreign mission are unable to protect their homeland? It's a very big shame. So the president's order must be obeyed. You're going to see it now. It will be obeyed. It's no more coming from the IG. It's coming from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Okay.
So I feel it will be obeyed. Yes.
Indeed. In fact, it's very interesting you say that, because over the years, when I've had the opportunity to speak with experts in this field, including high-level soldiers, they have said, well, first of all, soldiers don't like speaking like that. They don't like speaking out, like that. But then they have said that, look, there is no problem at all in wiping out these criminals. However, the way they work, many in uniform work, is that they wait for an order. And no matter what you think as an individual, you are not at liberty to take actions not under specific orders. So I read that to mean, and here you can come in as an expert, I read that to mean that even if a police formation or a military formation were to know that it could take out all of this section, it's going to have to wait for orders. And I think our enemies know this, and so are playing on that. But as you were just pointing out, well, this time, it's not the Inspector General of Police, important as he is and being directly in charge, but even the Inspector General has a boss, and we're talking here about the President of the Federal Republic. Because it is coming from him, you are optimistic that, well, this time, now that the President has spoken, has added his voice to this matter, nobody dare not obey. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. You see, the President who has already declared a state of emergency, and there will be rules of engagement have been issued before you even deploy. There will be rules of engagement. I don't think the police will be told to wait until you receive another. No, there will be rules of engagement. They've been told at what range to fire, at what range to attack, and at what point to attack. So it's going to be a different ball game altogether from what we've been seeing in the past.
Okay.
Because the order came from the President himself.
All right. Time to bring on our first viewer who wants to join the program. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, brother. Now, Sayori, this issue of mass recruitment, I would suggest to the authority concerned as recruiting people that any form they are going to do, but I know for some of these forms that they will tell you go to internet and do everything. I think there must be a shortage from that person's village or local government. The clergymen and the national ruler there. What I'm that is the signature of such person to back up. Because like one was said 2 days ago, that 30% or 3% of army people there, that are Boko Haram terrorists inside the district. So he has proved it by himself. Please, make me an example. So that we know exactly who is coming away. And there should be a standard. Then, as it is now, this very one, it's there for me. I'll tell them, let them base on the graduate level, or diploma level, or NC level. So I will look at the level that people were recruiting. So I will balance. It will help us eradicate this issue of bringing in Boko Haram into or terrorists into the security agencies' employment. It will help us. The area we do that way, the better for us. And the VS we are talking, up to today, like what the IGP said yesterday, that there are one clause in reason. There are some people that they still be guided. I think, I don't know which people are doing that. Because when you say remove, it should be removed. Anybody who needs security, go and look for civil defense or vigilante. Or, my brothers, Nigerian, listen. If you are doing the needful, you are doing the right thing in your community, you don't need security man. You don't need That is why when I see clergymen, the security men guiding them, I start laughing. God has protected you. You are burning and casting. Why are you looking for the people to do it for what? It is God that is overall guider. Why are you looking for it? So let us do the needful. Nigerians should start doing the needful. Deliver your goods when you're supposed to deliver. 10 years when it is. You don't need police or army or DSS to back you or to follow you up. God is the ultimate protector. Good morning. Thank you from our school. I'll be listening. Where the book of Daniel, Lion Den. Let's go and look at it. Good morning.
Good morning, Mazi Okorafor. Thank you very much. You see, Dr. Roberts, it just reminded me of another aspect. We talk about state police, that we do need state police. Now, not every expert actually agrees. I was speaking with one yesterday, was it yesterday or maybe day before yesterday, who felt that we had not yet, quote unquote, developed to that level yet. But the president, in his remarks, had said that maybe we need to take another look at this question of state police and refer to the National Assembly, get them to look at it again with a mind to seeing what needs to be done. And if that is the case, whatever comes back from the National Assembly in the national interest, of course, the president has indicated, since he made the suggestion that let's refer this matter back to the National Assembly and see what they think. Give me your thoughts on that idea.
Before I answer this particular question, you see, his concern is still on the compromise to make sure that the process of recruiting the extra hand police people that we're doing doesn't, it's done properly to avoid infiltration of terrorists or criminals in the whole process. Because once they do, the whole process will become a mess. It will be compromised. Okay, so going back to the issue of state police, you see, I think the whole idea of state police, you can compare it to knowing your customer. The ability to know, be familiar with the area you want to govern, the area you want to police, the ability to know the terrain properly, understand the language, and be able to know the criminal elements in that vicinity. Exactly. For instance, where I am from, it's easier for me to say, oh, I know this person, I know that person, I know this terrain, I don't know this terrain. Even if I don't know the terrain, it's easier for someone to give me information. Remember what we're talking about in security, the core is intel. It's easier for me to get intel if I am asking a fellow, probably Hausa friend. If I'm a Hausa, it's easier to get information. But if I'm a foreigner in a Hausa community or an Igbo state, it becomes difficult because I'll start questioning, why is this guy asking these questions? Is it that because of the insecurity that we already have now, start asking yourself, does this guy want to release this information to his own criminal elements to come and attack us? So you see, from that angle, if you look at it from that angle, you see that the issue of state police is cogent. It's right at this moment. It may help. But it doesn't really mean that there are no issues that could come out of it. But you wait, the issues that will come out from it and what we have at the moment, which one is higher? If we legislate and find out it's better for us to just have the police and then it will give us exactly what we want, then we'll go for it.
Yeah. But again, maybe you could pursue that a bit further. Your thoughts about some Nigerians, and they're not exactly a few Nigerians, who are saying that we're not ready yet for state police. It comes down to trust. I think the whole notion, the idea is that, you're going to have state police and then you're going to have a governor, so the police will be under him, so to speak. No, I don't think we're ready for that yet. Are we, is that, can you understand those who are viewing it from that particular prism? That we can't trust ourselves enough yet?
Yes, their main concern is the governors taking advantage of that and probably using them against political opponents and what have you. But at this moment, what we are looking for, what will give us results, whatsoever that will give us results and to make sure that Nigerians are safe. I think I also opt for state police if it's possible. But these are not things to just rush in. These are things to take step by step, legislate and find out where their boundaries will get to. What are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to stop? And we also have to have federal police too, just like they have in the US. Apart from the sheriff, you still have the FBI, you still have the national police that also somehow train these other people and also somehow share intel with them. When it's a very, very serious matter, the long guns, they call them the long guns, you see them coming to also rescue this. So there is nothing wrong with state police if it's properly structured.
If it is properly structured.
Yes.
Excuse me, but you just gave a number of considerations that would have to be addressed if we were to go there. Now, that's not a quick job if it's going to be thorough. Yet we don't seem to have the time. Look, for instance, all of this that is, all of the turbulence that is going on around us, around every Nigerian, around the country. After all, this declaration of emergency is a nationwide one. It's a challenge because in order to be thorough, it's going to have to take some time. It seems to me that that is the time that we don't really have. So, but the president, at least, nobody can accuse him of doing nothing. He has said that in addition to what has been done before, he's now further saying, he's now saying that, look, take that whole number of, take an additional 20,000 to bring it up to 50,000 men. It must be done thoroughly, since you don't want any kind of Bolekaja person in the police. And let me take a recently former policeman. In other words, he retired only recently, within the last year or so. Dr. Olatoye Drusimi, calling in from Lekki, AIG retired. Good morning to you, sir. Dr. Drusimi, you're going to have to mute the volume of your television set.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. Now please go on, sir. I have put you on.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori. I want to thank
sir.
the president for this, for the approval to recruit more men
Yes.
Into the Nigerian police force. But I still want us to be very careful about the mode. As soon as this program starts, we will need to let the politicians know that it's not a political affair. It's not a constituency affair. Before they will start sending names, sending that, they should not allow the police to recruit the right people, the right heart, the right age, and all the necessary qualifications should be allowed to come to play, not actually harassing the police authority about, it's my boy, recruit him. That's number one. Number two, the training curriculum ought to change now. When we were in the service, what was happening some 20, 25 years ago is not what is happening now. We must have to be ready that with this insurgency here and there, we must ensure that counter-insurgency training is given to the policemen. But it is not even the number of police that recruits that are available that matters now. What are we going to use to fight the crime? It is time to recruit the police and re-engineer the police so that we can be more effective. You can have 20 men somewhere. If they don't have the right equipment, it's as good as you have two that are fully equipped. That is just the technology should be allowed. As we are planning for the training of the police, recruiting more men, we must be ready to equip the police with the modern gadgets that can enable them to fight crime. It is not good. This is the time to have the air wing of the police, that we have tactical air wings that can actually fight crime, not just flying over crime area, but the one that can drop the men, that can finish the job and go away. It is time to have air bases in every geopolitical location in Nigeria, geopolitical zone, so that when there, like these people who are moving, before you can move 50 men on motorcycle, there should be an air power that can eliminate these people. It is time to recruit the right men. It is time to train them in the right way, and it is time to equip them with the right gadgets to enable them fight crime and criminality in Nigeria. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much, AIG retired Olatoye Drusimi. You might have wanted to add to the submission of the retired AIG who called just before we went on break. What do you think of his thoughts?
Yes, his suggestion is wonderful. You see, we are not only dealing with ISWAP, we are also dealing with groups like Lakurawa, Wolo Wolo. These are terrorist organizations that are sworn allegiance to the Islamic State of the Sahel province. So We must get it right. Then that's what he's trying to say. We must get it right. At this point, we should involve highly technological weapons. We must take over the airspace. It is not rocket science, like I've always said. Take over the whole airspace of that area. Let's get intelligence back. We'll be able to know where these people are, how many of them that are there. You go in, destroy their operational capacity. You cannot send people into that bush without destroying the operational capacity of these terrorist organizations. These criminals are highly armed. You see them always brandishing sophisticated weapons. Some of them they seized from our military. So until that is done, we shouldn't send people inside the bush. Then he also talked about giving counter-insurgency or counter-terrorism training to our policemen.
Yeah.
You know, our police needs to have similar trainings to what the military. That's what the kind of thing that was given to our mobile policemen those days. To let them know it is no more you are going to arrest a criminal that has pump action or not. No, you are dealing with terrorists. You are dealing with highly advanced and intelligent criminals. So at this point, the training shouldn't just be shabbily done. No, the recruitment also, like he pointed out, it shouldn't be. Corruption should be removed from it completely, if it's possible. Because what we are going to see now is one highly placed police officer bringing 5, 6 names. These are my own people. No, it shouldn't be done now. This is the time for the people that are qualified for this job to be employed, to be recruited, so that we get this thing done once and for all. If we get it wrong now, it will be very, very difficult to get it right again.
Well, everybody is hearing this, and well, let me just ask it up front. How much of a hindrance do you think it is going to be, what we've heard in the past, that, wait, you can't come with full force like that. These are some of our misguided children. They actually are ours. We've heard that kind of thing before, you know, and so these are the kind of hindrances, you know, distractions, disturbances that I believe have, you know, worked against the desired objective. That's not going to change anytime soon, or is it?
You know, what scholars have argued in the past is the percentage of kinetic approach that should be involved in insurgency. But mind you, in insurgency, the winning of heart and mind, we are talking about winning of the heart and mind of the terrorized communities.
Okay.
So when you win their hearts, what happens? They start giving you intel about the criminals, about their hideouts, about whatever you need to know about, because you won the heart and mind of the community. Now, let me tell you what happened. In 2021, the same thing will happen when ISWAP started winning the heart and mind of the Muslim communities in the terrorized areas. That was actually the tool they used, the strategy they used to win the communities. And they started getting intel about Boko Haram, which helped them in 2021 to launch a heavy onslaught on Boko Haram in the Sambisa forest, which led to Shekarau taking his own life. And then some of his commanders surrendered to ISWAP, which is what is still happening today. Now, in this instance, we're talking about terrorists in our bush. You don't negotiate with them at all. The first thing you need to do is destroy their operational capacity entirely. Once you do that, you will see most of them on their own who voluntarily surrender. On their own.
Okay.
And if they surrender,
you think so? You think
of course
that? Okay.
See, you don't until you see the fighting power, the capability of Nigerian army. That's when you know. When there is a political will, what we've lacked in the past is sympathy to those criminals. But now I can see the political will for Mr. President to have declared state of emergency. He didn't stop there. He went further. If you remember, he said the cattle raiders should stop open grazing. In the past, we've seen where some of these criminal headers use that means to transport weapons, use that means to move out funds from Nigeria. Another thing that must be done and done seriously is our porous borders. It's been the major source of proliferation of these small arms and light weapons. Our borders, in the northeast especially. Because if you look at the Zambeza forest we're talking about, if you look at the whole Sahel region we're talking about, spanning from Senegal to what do you call it, near Ethiopia. And then on the north side, you have the Sahara Desert. And on the south, you have the tropical African forest. These are areas that are very notorious. I can tell you for sure, the bulk of the arms used for the perpetration of these criminal activities come from those areas. So what's the big deal in policing those areas? We mustn't put men on ground. There are technologies. You map the whole areas. You have the drones that will fly for 10 hours, 5 hours. You continue to map those areas. As you get intel, you send the men to go and destroy those pockets of resistance we have. These are things that we're supposed to do. Now, you look at our border with Cameroon on the Manfi side, you will see the river there has also been a source of, proliferation of arms and drugs and what have you. So once we're able to also, in addition to putting pressure on these guys in our bush, we close our borders. We monitor our borders. We have over 1,000 unmanned borders or polymanned borders in the Sahel region, our borders with the Sahel region. So what do you expect? You hit them, they move over to those places and go and hide. For how long do we continue this cat and mouse string? All we need to do is to be proactive. Go on the air. Take over those areas. Let them understand what is going on. I can tell you that what all this sudden surge is that some of them want to see what they can make out and then leave the place. We've seen videos in the recent past of trucks of these bandits trying to relocate to some other places. How have we been tracking their movements in the recent past? Because until you track their movement from one point to the other, you won't know where they've gone to. And then we have neighbors. We go back and recalibrate our relationship with the multinational joint task force. We recalibrate it and monitor those areas so that they wouldn't have any place to run to. Mind you, this Zambeza forest we're talking about, yes, we know it's like probably the 10 times the size of Lagos. But does it mean we cannot monitor it? We can. It's just the political will, which the president has really done now. The president has really shown that he is ready to fight these people and that he is ready to end this whole nonsense. We've been waiting for all this while.
Okay. You referred to, this whole matter of open grazing and criminal elements hiding under that traditional arrangement to be causing havoc, moving arms, moving personnel, that kind of a thing. The president reminded us, you recall, that, look, we built ranches, but the cattle herders, the Fulani cattle herders, are not having, they seem to not wanting any part of it. And the answer has been so simple, perhaps simplistic, which is that that's not our way. For generations, this is how we do our thing. And so it's like we have a right to be who we are. Long story short, up and down the country, these herders actually, they continue to do what they've been doing. They do not like the ranches. Now, I don't know why the authorities in the home ranch areas, emirs, traditional rulers, and all the police are uncompromising that no, this is how it will be. You must conform. These are modern times, and you can't say because a thing was done 100, 150 years ago, you're going to continue that today. We don't seem to have the will to go that far. Or am I mistaken in that conclusion?
No, you see, one of the major issues we have in Nigeria is policy implementation and feedback. There is no way a commander-in-chief will give orders and then people are supposed to enforce it properly.
But President Buhari was in support of ranching, as you recall.
That's what I'm saying. There were policies. If there were policies made for ranching, how was it implemented?
Okay.
Did anybody go back to say, oh, these people are not really obeying, they are not going back to do what they're supposed to do? This is 21st century, for God's sake. We are in the 21st century. Go to Holland and see how far their cows are. Go to America, go to some other places where they rear cows, and you see it is even better for them to keep these cows in a particular place.
Exactly.
And then it provides opportunities for other people. People who farm the feed and bring the feed, employment opportunities. So I think it's all about enforcement of those policies.
And that enforcement is going to have to be by the herders themselves and their principals, because yes, we know that cattle is very valuable. It's extremely valuable in their own concept, and we know that. But that's not how we are going to continue, and I think you're right. Somebody needs to put their foot down. Mr. Ade in the UK, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
I quite agree with what your guest is saying. The problem we have is this herders and farmers issue, most especially in the southwest. Because look at that is why my late governor of blessed memory, Aketi, that's why Amatek will come to realize in those states. Because they're really killing people, doing all this sort of thing. When we were growing up, we were used to these cow herders who put them, and I'm in my 70 now. And they are sick. We are not having this. Why this issue now? Why? You see, that's the question we should be asking. Because this means they are inviting others to come or what? And the worst thing is that the past government of late Muhammad Buhari was laid back on this issue. So they go more wings. But now, thank God, for the first time, the president has mentioned it, that they should drop their gun. They created livestock ministry. Nobody has ever done that in the history of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Apart from President Tinubu, livestock ministry. And yet the livestock minister has never been for once going to where that crisis are. Those, like where the kidnapping in Kwara are appeal to them. No, he never said anything to condemn it. That's why video showing his headers. Why is that? They should change the man. Because they are killing our people. Then we are fighting our security in those states now. If they come there, we don't use gun in those states. We use traditional power that God gave us. And that's what we will be using for all these people that want to kill our people and rape women in the forest. So I thank your guest. It's making sense. A lot of people are frustrated now in Nigeria. Nobody you see on the road that their mental health is okay. The comments are going on. You understand?
Yes.
So, but God will rescue Nigeria. Good morning. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Have a great weekend to yourself. Dr. Roberts, did you have anything did you want to add anything?
Yes, people, for that, I really must thank Mr. President for that boldness. Because like he rightly pointed out, many presidents have come, but nobody has really given this marching order for this open grazing to stop. Okay, let's look at what has happened. My fear is the food insecurity that the open grazing has caused. If you look at Benue State, that used to be the food basket of the nation, and you've seen attacks on the farms, sometimes you look at these some of these criminal headers uprooting yam. People planted these crops to harvest and make money to earn their living. You uproot these yams. To some of it doesn't matter because it's one in the bush. But if that farmer does not harvest his yam and bring it to a point of location where other people come to, those yam cannot travel to the southeast. He cannot travel to southwest. He cannot travel to the northeast. What are we talking about? Food insecurity. And when a nation is unable to feed its own people, you see this such a crime, exactly like what we're having now. So, Mr. President, thank you for doing that.
Why do you think these attacks have been coming on in torrents like this, especially in our recent times? You go to Kwara, you look at these things that have been happening, the churches, the schools in Niger. Why do you think they've been coming on, fast and thick? Because it's not only is it unconscionable, but at the same time, it's befuddling. Why, when we're talking about Nigeria having its challenges, America was, it is carrying on in its own misconception of the situation in Nigeria, which, people are trying their best to, just bring America around to understand it. Whatever needs to be done will be done so that America understands the propaganda about, Nigeria being a state that is killing people of one religion or the other. Why do you think that in the midst of such delicacies, we are having these other incidents of kidnapping girls and then you release them, kidnapping worshippers, you release them? What can we do? Can people be playing with Nigeria's integrity and security like this?
You see, it's in the recent past, you observe that some states have started negotiating. They've been negotiating with these terrorists. And mind-blowing sums of money that they paid to release kidnapped victims has made it a very lucrative business for these kidnappers. You see them inviting their friends. It's like you see an gold rush, and you're inviting people, oh, come, Nigeria is very lucrative. In the long run, they will pay. And in the long run, they won't do anything. So it's safe to kidnap here. And they have safe ways of taking the funds out of Nigeria. What we should be looking for at this moment are those that give those bandits the sophisticated weapons. What do they do when they collect these funds? Who removes the funds for them? How do they go get those sophisticated equipments into the shores of Nigeria? These are things we should be looking at. For the surge, yes, the government would only negotiate. You can imagine the government negotiating with criminals.
Yeah.
When you are sympathetic to their cause, they will continue to come. Because it's lucrative. What are you going to do? Nothing. You pay them the money and you come on TV and tell us nothing was happening, nothing was paid. And these guys continue tomorrow. If they're not making money, they will not be doing that. So they are making money. It has become very lucrative for them. So what we need to do is to let them know that time has come for these things to stop. And that time is now. We need to be tough on them. They need to hear the president sound tough.
Yes.
They need to hear the president act tough. They need to see the military act tough. Like I said, the military, all they need at this moment, not the military only, all our men and women in uniform, boost their morale. In addition to the recruitment of extra manpower, boost the morale of those that are already in the field. You don't expect soldiers to go on reconnaissance mission and they are going with light-skinned weapons, light-skinned vehicles, and they are ambushed. What happened to jamming system? There are systems that will jump from 0 to 6,000 megahertz. No cap.
Yeah.
And then those explosives, remote control provides explosives, will not be, they can't explode. You know, when you ambush a convoy with RC IED, it becomes a problem. But when you're able to jam them and they know we are serious and you pass that same terrain, they know we are serious and we mean business. That will put a stop to all this nonsense.
Indeed.
Like I said, Abby, this show is all about the political will which the president has displayed.
Well, I have to be careful here. I don't want to, keep on talking because we've almost run out of time. But I want to thank you very much. It seems to me that you are, this time you are more optimistic that we will get different results than, has been exposed to us in the past. Now that we have the president fully behind this thrust. President Muhammadu Buhari was also, in support. He didn't want criminals either. But having heard from the president, from Bola Tinubu, that this has to stop, you're optimistic that this time is going to be different. In closing, you are. In closing.
Yes, I am.
Okay, then.
We'll get it right now. Yes.
We will get it right now.
What will be lacking in the past is the political will. I heard the president sound strong. I heard him. It was a marching order. Emergency. This is the situation we are. He mentioned a specific term, and we'll get it right this time around.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anya Nkata Roberts. Counterterrorism and international relations expert. We really appreciate your sharing your perspectives with us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Okay, then we're going to have to leave it there, but please be sure to join us on Monday for a fresh edition of the program. I am Iyori Folari. Do have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.